Hey y'all, it's your favorite country girl, and I'm back with a new episode of Love Kills by Melanin Mayhem. Baby, Love Kills is guaranteed to make your blood pressure go up and get your cussing game on point, because I'm spilling all the tea on crimes of passion that prove relationships can be complicated and deadly. Now, Love Kills brings you the stories of relationships and situationships that went hella wrong and resulted in somebody getting their water turned off permanently, if you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna give you the who, the what, the where, and why I think this shit was crazy. We get in and we get out quick, just like a robbery. Y'all ready? Now, I'm going to tell y'all, the worst thing in the world is when you can't get somebody out of your system. Ooh, New Orleans Nation, y'all know what I'm talking about. When that man or that woman that does it for you ain't shit, ooh, y'all toxic as fuck. But, ooh, that butt. It's something about that man. It's something about that woman. Ooh, child. You have to pray that ass away, honey. You got to get in your prayer closet. Get yourself on the main line with Black Jesus. And even then, we be weak. Ooh, we be weak. And the ain't shit and toxic part varies from couple to couple because, you know, everybody's ain't shit ain't the same. There's levels to this shit. But, you know, I think we can all agree that humans that don't pay child support or take care of their kids, they ain't shit. Let's just use that as our baseline for this episode. And can we also agree that when you got a thing for this type of ain't shit person, ooh, you got it bad. Come on, Usher Raymond, you got it bad up in this thing. That baby daddy and the baby mama of it all. Because, you know, when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad and you can't stop fucking with this person, it can get real bad. And today, y'all, I got a story that's real bad. I mean, my heart aches so bad. And I don't know these people. But when I read up on the story, y'all, it tore me up. And now I'm about to tear y'all up. So I want to give y'all the trigger warning of its highest level. I'm talking about Michelle Blair to the fifth power. So like for real, if you are sensitive or you just not feeling yourself today, you just not feeling copacetic, shit ain't right, you kind of down, feeling kind of blah, you know, kind of saying, meh, I suggest that you turn me off and you come back when and if you are up to the challenge. Now understand, as much as I love the streams, please know that you've already been here long enough to make Spotify happy. You know what I'm saying? So I would rather look out for your mental than worry about my analytics right now. You know, they always hated that about me when I worked in corporate America because they was all about the numbers and I was all about the people. But anywho, that is not the point. Seriously, this Love Kills episode is not going to go down smooth no matter how I serve it up. But I gotta do it, y'all, because we need to know and understand that these things happen. And then maybe, just maybe, we can begin to recognize behaviors and patterns in our relationships that are possibly, could be, might be, maybe kind of look like are detrimental to our continued existence here on this here planet. So the victims in this story today, they deserve to be honored. And I am surely going to do that as I drag the slimy, stinking motherfucker that is the subject of my wrath today. So, okay, I feel like I have given the proper warning as well as giving y'all enough time to press stop and hit the door. So if you rocking with me today, you know how it go. I got a story. You want to hear it? Well, here it go. Now, we're going to go back 21 years in time to 2004. It's Detroit, Michigan, where all of this is going down. All right, D, what up, though? It's somewhere around October, November 2003. And a woman named Lisa Shelton has moved to 153 Minnesota Street. Now, Lisa got 4 kids. They are William Parker Jr., who was 16, Randall Parker, who was 14, Wanye Parker, who was 12. Now, these 3 was Lisa's kids with her ex-husband, one Mr. William Parker Sr. Him and Lisa, they got divorced around 1997, but they still did a good job co-parenting. Now, I said Lisa had 4 children, so there's one more in the mix. That's little Miss Ashane Thomas, and she was the baby coming in at 9 years old. Now, Ashane has a different last name, and that's because she got a different daddy. Mr. Parker is not that baby's father. Ashane's daddy is 36-year-old Roger Thompson. Yeah, Lisa had met Roger back somewhere around, 94, 95, 35 if you do the math. And her and Roger, they had one of them off and on type of relationships. And Lil Ashani was the beautiful, blessed result of their coming together, right? Now, when Lisa moved to Minnesota Street, her little sister moved with her too. Now, Lil Sis is only 13. Now, I am not naming Lil Sis for a reason, and I will explain that more in just a bit. I am not quite sure of the timeline, but it would appear that Lisa and Roger were in the on again part of their relationship because he is over here at this house on Minnesota Street as well. So it's Lisa, her 4 kids, her little sister, and her off and on again man, Roger. Okay? Everybody know the players? Cool. Now, this nigga Roger, he ain't got no job, no prospects, ain't trying to do nothing. And word on the curb is that he was the type of nigga that stayed talking shit and wanting things to be the way he wanted them with his whole dependent ass. But regardless of his lack of financials, he was still trying to be the man of Lisa's house. And apparently, it wasn't much of a secret that Lisa's kids, and I'm assuming that's them 3 older ones, they weren't too fond of Roger. The street committee say that the children was tired of Roger coming in and out of their lives, causing chaos and confusion and fuckery and foolishness. Honey, out of the mouths of babes, you know when the children ain't fucking with you, you is really trifling because children love everybody for the most part. You ain't got to do nothing but be nice to them. And apparently, they didn't really care for Mr. Rogers' ass. So we find ourselves, they've been at this house on Minnesota Street for about 6 months. So it's around March of 2004 now. And when this situation actually takes place, it's the last day of March. I'm talking March 31st, 2004. And on this particular day, it's nighttime, and all the inhabitants at Minnesota Street are in for the night, tucked in their beds, ready to go to sleep. William and Randall and Wanye, Ashane, and Lil Sis, they sleep in the front room of the house, right? And Lisa and Roger, they laying in bed in the back of the house, in their room, you know, just chilling. It's nighttime. It might be the right time, you know what I'm saying, for a little something to go down. And it might have would have been that type of situation, except for the fact that Roger was laying in Lisa's bed and his jacket was balled up under his pillow. Now, just the ergonomics of it all is off. I mean, the pillow is on the bed and the head is on the pillow, which means you and your boo is on the same level. Eye to eye, lips to lips, if you will, right? But if you got a jacket shoved under your pillow, we ain't face to face no more. You above me. You gonna make me hurt my neck when I'm trying to give you a little something to get something going, right? So of course, any woman or man in this situation would logically ask, why the fuck you got a jacket under your pillow? I mean, y'all, that's a very reasonable and justified question. And Lisa did indeed ask Roger, why the fuck is you got a jacket under your pillow? What is you trying to hide? Well, apparently Roger's answer, whatever it was not sufficient. Maybe it caused Lisa to have more questions because the next thing you know, they having a full-blown argument about why the fuck you got a jacket under your pillow. Now, in the grand scheme of arguments, this don't feel like the DEFCON 10 type of argumentation. You know what I'm saying? You know, some subjects automatically lend themselves to, you know, just knowing it was about to be a knockdown, drag out type of situation. But a jacket under the pillow, I'm thinking that only requires a good cussing out and maybe a couple of you think you slicks. That should be sufficient. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to go on ahead and go to bed and we still might get a little something going, you know, a little makeup sex after the argument. Well, that is not what happened. This argument turned deadly. This pussy punk ass stinking motherfucking Roger proceeds to grab Lisa up by the neck and choke her out. This nigga has grabbed an extension cord and is strangling Lisa with it. Like legit squeezed the life out of Lisa. She died right then and there in that back room over an argument about a jacket under the pillow. Ooh, fix it, Black Jesus. Now, that's terrible and tragic. Full stop. Lisa was a young woman full of a lot of life ahead of her. And this low-down, dirty waste of flesh, sorry excuse for a human puss-ass, punk-ass nigga just took her from her 4 fucking kids who are asleep in the goddamn front room. Well, like I said, this is bad enough. Maybe, just maybe, Roger will be the coward he is and sneak out of the house, right? Wrong. Oh, this nigga compounds this tragedy even more. Now, it's about 3 a.m. and Roger's stinking ass goes downstairs to the basement. In the basement, he gets a metal pipe. He brings his trifling ass back upstairs, goes into the front room where the children are sleeping. Y'all, this motherfucker swung that pipe and started beating on Wanye. Well, of course, when 12-year-old Wanye got beat out of his sleep, he yelling and crying. I mean, they're all sleeping right there together. And so when the other children hear Wanye screaming and crying, they jumping up and they trying to comprehend what it is that they are seeing. Ashani's daddy is beating Wanye with a pipe. Wait a minute, where is mama at? I mean, can y'all imagine this situation in your heads? Like, do you have a visual picture of these children in this room at 3 a.m. and this chaos is going on? They mama's baby daddy is got a pipe and he's swinging it at them. So again, they hollering, they screaming. Lil sis, she try to run, but then Roger take that pipe and he hit her hard in her arm, stops her in her tracks. Now Roger is around here telling them to shut the fuck up, and he just hitting them and hitting them. And they just crying. He turns and he hits Randall in the head with this pipe. And then his daughter, y'all, Ashane, she's crying. Daddy, what you doing? And he turns and puts that pipe on her too. His own flesh and blood. He then tells William, Lisa's oldest child, who is 16, to tie everybody up. He made William use some little red strips of cloth to tie their hands and their feet. Now, mind you, they still crying. They still moaning in pain. And this trifling descendant of Satan, he stuffs an apple in their mouths as a way to keep them from yelling out. Ooh. Jesus, we gonna make it through this, y'all. We got to press on. We got to press on. Now, once William had tied up all of the children, Roger led him and Lil Sis to the kitchen. He then ties William to a chair and he sticks an apple in his mouth too. Now, Lil Sis thinks she about to get tied up as well, but Roger, he got other plans for Lil Sis. Lil 13-year-old sis, he takes her clothes all the way off, naked as a jaybird, and then he shoves her into a closet. Y'all, it is at this point that Roger begins to beat those children with this metal pipe, one by one. He would beat on one and then move to another one, and he just kept beating them with this goddamn metal pipe. He beat them all night long till the sun came up. Now, Lil Sis, she stayed in that closet the entire time, scared to death, listening to the sounds of her nieces and her nephews being beaten to death. Hours and hours of hearing them cry and moan in pain, screaming for somebody to help them, asking Roger why he was doing this to them. These were not quick deaths. These children suffered for hours, and Lil Sis couldn't do nothing but cry and pray. And then it went silent. Nobody was crying anymore. Nobody was moaning anymore. There were no more screams, just a thick, deathly silence. Now, Lil Sis is terrified. It was bad enough to hear everybody screaming out, but now ain't nobody doing nothing. You understand? You up on deck. You next. She's still in this closet, but Roger don't come in. A couple of hours later, it's morning time now. It's Thursday, April 1st. This ain't no April Fool's joke, though. This is real shit. This monster comes and opens the closet door that morning. Lisa's sister is just cowering on the floor, don't know what's about to happen to her. Imagine her surprise and shock when she hear Roger say, "Hey, I'm finna go get some money. I'll be back. You just stay right here." Nigga, what? Like, that's some normal shit to say after you've just annihilated everybody in the goddamn house. Son of a bitch. And then this pussy punk ass nigga closes the closet door back, and Lil Sis can hear him put a chair up against the door to keep her in. And then she hears footsteps. Roger is walking away. Then she hears the front door open and close. Roger actually left. Baby, Lil Sis did not tarry. Baby, she began to kick that closet door, I'm talking about, with everything in her, the spirit of the ancestors propelling her forward to make that motherfucking door open. And she kicked and she kicked and she kicked and she kicked until finally that chair that was blocking the door, it moved out the way enough for her to get that closet door open. Baby, little sis ain't got on nothing but a bra. She ran out that front door running for her life. She ran 2 houses down and commenced to beating on the door of her neighbor, begging for somebody to please help her. The neighbor, a kind woman, she opens up her door, and the sight on her steps, she see little sis naked, screaming, crying, please help me, please help me. He just killed my family. Ooh, Lord, have mercy. Now, this woman, she brings Lil Sis in her house and she immediately calls 911. Then she go and get some clothes for Lil Sis to put on, right? She is trying to keep Lil Sis calm and telling her everything is going to be all right, baby. It's going to be all right, baby. I got you. Ain't nobody going to hurt you in here, baby. The police is on their way, baby. Just hold on. And Lil Sis is just rocking and crying and because the shock of it all. Oh. Well, Detroit police did not tarry either. They arrived not too long after that phone call, and they started questioning Lil Sis. And Lil Sis is trying to get the words out, but all she can tell them is they dead. And as she's just stuck in this loop of they dead, at her peripheral, she see this motherfucker bebopping down the avenue. This motherfucking Roger. He is back from his little errand to go get some money. Baby, when she seen Roger walking back up on the scene, Lil Sis loses it. I mean, she just started screaming. And of course, trigger, of course. The police are here now. She's just like, that's him. He did it. It's him. Go get him. She's hysterical. Warranted. Oh my God. So strong. This little girl is able to even be coherent. But the police are like, okay, that's him. And they take off after Roger. Well, I don't know. Roger, I guess he finally looks up because I don't understand. You're walking back to this house of horrors that you've created. How you don't see the police car outside? But he didn't apparently because he is literally walking towards the house. But once he does realize and he hear Lil Sis going off, this nigga takes off running. Luckily, like I said, Detroit PD was good for a hawk down. And that's exactly what the fuck they did. They hawked that nigga down in a parking lot and put him on that motherfucking pavement over on Louisiana near Bush Streets. Now, back at the neighbor's house, the police are still questioning Lil Sis. And she like, we can talk later. Y'all need to go get my family. They in the house dead. All of them dead. Go get my family. Now, y'all know I give the police hell when they fucking up. But I respect the badge and the hard fucking job that they have to do. But even with my big old imagination, I can't even imagine the fortitude it takes to know you're about to see some horrible, heinous shit and still have the wherewithal to put one foot in front of the other and go face that shit head on. And that's exactly what the Detroit Police Department did that day. They went 2 houses down to 153 Minnesota and opened the front door and gazed on a sight no human should ever have to see. Lisa's children are bound and gagged with these apples stuck in their mouth. Like, you dog face ass murdering murderer that murdered an entire family ass puss ass nigga. And to add insult to injury, he had dragged Lisa from that back bedroom where he turned her water off and put her in the bed in the front room with 2 of her children before he left out on his little errand. Y'all, the sight as it was described, there is blood everywhere. It's on the walls, it's on the floor, it's on the ceiling. Like, how can you unsee that? For me, just researching these crimes, I have to walk away and do something else, like play a game on my phone or scroll mindlessly through social media looking at cute cat videos to try to decompress from the visual images I've given myself. And I'm just reading words on a screen or watching videos on a screen, right? And it's too much. I don't know how many times for this episode alone, I have just had to walk away and just get my mind right. But the officers on scene that day, the medical examiner, all those people who had to show up and process the scene, Oh, my Lord, sweet black Jesus. I hope they got some counseling. I hope the city of Detroit, I hope all municipalities, because this is not just isolated to Detroit. All police officers and medical examiners and all of those people, first responders, they are subject to seeing some really bad shit. I hope that they all have it in the budget to make sure that the counseling is on point, because sweet black Jesus, to see that and then you got to go and continue to be a normal, regular human being, fuck all that. It's a mess. And this was an absolute mess. And Lisa has got plenty of family, and they all tight. I mean, they have, according to what I've read, they had some challenges, right? Financially speaking, you know, there was a lot of shit going on in the family, but they was tight. And y'all know, in these type of situations, news travels real fast. And it did. Before the police could even put the crime scene tape up, people started showing up on the scene. The people that lived on Minnesota Street, they see all these flashing lights looking like Christmas time around this motherfucker, so they coming out their house trying to figure out what's going on, and they hear that there has been a massacre at Lisa's house. And you know, the people in the neighborhood, they know, well, wait a minute, that woman got some children. What you mean a massacre? So there's a hysteria that's building in the streets. Lisa's family gets up on the scene. Oh, Lord, the pictures. Oh, my God, the pictures. I mean, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I feel so bad, like extra so bad for Mr. William Parker Sr., Lisa's ex-husband and father to her 3 oldest children. Y'all, he was at work. He worked in a produce store. He was at work when he got the news that his children were gone on to glory. I can't even begin to imagine. You know, it's bad enough to get news when you at work. You know, you get that call that something bad has happened to your child, a school call you or whatever. That's bad. But to get the news that something bad has happened to all your children, ooh, fix it, black Jesus. Y'all, you can already see the scene once the family starts showing up. It's just overwhelming. It's emotional. It's traumatic. It's too much. It's way too much. People was falling out. They screaming and crying and just begging for Jesus to know, please let this be a bad dream. Please let this be the worst April Fool's joke of all times. They're inconsolable. And it's warranted, because when do you lose 5 members of your family in one whop? Just gone. Now, the medical examiner determines that Lisa died from strangulation and that all of her children died from blunt force trauma to their heads. They take this pussy punk-ass nigga into custody, and he is arraigned on Friday, April the 2nd, and of course, this nigga gets no bail. It took him twice to get his ass arraigned, because the first time they brought him up in front of the judge, he acted like a deaf mute, like he didn't know what was going on. They asking him questions, he not responding, just sitting here looking stupid and whatnot, and so they was like, fuck all that. But Lisa's family was like, oh, fuck no, hell no, straighten that nigga up, let's handle this business today. They going out to the car, they all upset, then word get to them that, oh, they gonna bring him back in front of the judge. He got some act right in him now. They go back, they arraign him. Like I said, no bail, nigga. You gonna sit your ass here until we figure out what the fuck we gonna do to you. Again, so much love and support I want to send out to Lisa's family, because they had to be in that courtroom 2 days after this traumatic loss to stand in the gap for Lisa and her babies. I salute y'all, and I don't know if y'all ever listen to me and my little podcast. Maybe somebody who know y'all know, but I send nothing but love and prayers for strength and courage and guidance and peace your way, because goddamn. Now, speaking of families, y'all know that these murderers that murder, they got families too. We have talked about them before in previous podcasts, and you know, they support their people as well, even when they dead ass wrong. But you know, we usually prefer that they support SSS, you know, strong silent support. But Roger's mama, this bitch felt the need to speak out on behalf of her son right after the arraignment. Y'all, this is not my family. I do not know these people. But when I read what Roger's pussy punk ass mama had to say to the news reporters, I wanted to slap that hoe myself. Y'all, this broad, I'm trying to be nice, as y'all know I call him a bitch in heartbeat, but this broad is somebody's mama. This broad got in front of a recording device and said, I quote, "Y'all don't understand. He loved those kids. He loved Lisa. My son needs help. Y'all need to pray for him. There is something wrong with my son." Now, there is one thing I do agree with you on, Miss Mary Thompson. That's Roger's mama name. I agree with you on one thing that you said. Your son needs some help. He needs some help getting disconnected from the matrix. Like, how dare you, when the bodies is still moist and fresh, have the gall and motherfucking audacity to say anything to anybody about this shit when your son is the reason for all these tears and all this sadness. Your son. Lady, if you don't shut the fuck up and continue to shut the fuck up and set your ass down somewhere and be quiet in a corner, don't you speak unless spoken to. Church finger up at all times. You ain't got shit to say. I'm not saying that you don't support your son because that's your goddamn son. I get that. Go to the jail, go visit him, put money on his books, all that shit. But bitch, you don't do no interviews. I said I wasn't gonna call this woman a bitch. I tried. Again, I don't know these people, but just being human. Let me tell you something. We would have had problems in that motherfucking parking lot of the courthouse. Oh, we'd have had problems. Bitch, I seen you standing in front of anything. Your son did not love our family. He couldn't have. He killed them all. Every last goddamn one of them. And he ain't just kill them, right? He beat children, his own flesh and blood, for hours. No, ma'am. You shut the fuck up and don't you say nothing ever again in life about this whole situation. Period. Lisa and her children, they were buried on April 8th. 5 caskets lined the front of the church at the Mount Zion Baptist Church there in Detroit. Hundreds of people showed up to pay their respects to a family that many of them didn't even know. But y'all know, just like this affected me, I could see myself. If I had been in Detroit at that time, I would have went to that funeral too, because god damn, you got to show up and show out and show support for the surviving family to let them know that, you know what, we feel with you. We want to support you in any way we can, even if it's just by physically being present to help you send your loved one off. The family had to originally take up a collection because who the fuck is ready emotionally or financially to bury 5 people at the same time? That's a grip. I mean, funerals is not cheap. But thankfully, the Swanson Funeral Home, they did a good thing and they provided the services free of charge to send this little family off right. Swanson Funeral Home, kudos to you and may many blessings fall upon your business. I don't know who you are, but I'm just saying profitability and God's mercy on y'all, because that was a good thing to help send this family off right. Now, according to the family, they say Roger beat on Lisa, that it was just one of those things. He was an abusive boyfriend. And Lisa, in her own penmanship, she acknowledged in a book of poems that she had published a year before that domestic abuse was present in her life. But what's amazing to me is that this nigga Roger didn't have no type of record at all. He had never been arrested. He had never been in any type of trouble. No accusations of domestic abuse from anybody. So you mean to tell me the first time you decide to jump off the porch, you jump right into multiple homicides? Like, who the fuck does that? You're supposed to stick your toe into the criminality pool and test out the waters before you jump in the deep end. This nigga jumped straight to 5 homicides. You got to be shitting me. But I promise you, I am not. This tea is 100% authentic, honey. Now, at this point, Roger's pussy punk ass, oh, he's so sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to. Oh, Lord, what I wish I could take it back. Nigga, fuck all that, and fuck you and your mama too. Y'all both can go on get the hell on, like Big Boy had said. Sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. They charged Roger Thompson with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Unfortunately, in Michigan, there was no death penalty, so y'all gonna have to foot the bill for keeping this sorry sack of snake shit alive for the rest of his natural days. Roger Thompson was indeed convicted and sentenced to 5 life sentences. He is currently inmate number 520217, and as of 2025, he is 55 years old. The good tax-paying citizens of Michigan will be providing him 3 hots and a cot for probably the next 30, 40 years. What a fucking waste. Ugh. I don't have much more to say other than I don't care if this nigga needs some medicine. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. He needs to fucking go. You killed 5 people. You killed your own daughter, a little bitty girl, 9 years old. Like, I hope every day them niggas on cell block D is ramming anything they can up into your ass cavities every day and twice on Sundays. I hope you get a bad case of herpes and syphilis with a side of gonorrhea, and every day your dick just sizzles all day long. I wish you excruciating migraine headaches and the prison is fresh out of Tylenol. I hope your left eye twitches nonstop and your right nostril has a permanent itch that you can't scratch. Like, I hope you get boils in every crevice of your body that get infected and gangrene starts to set in and your shit just fall off. And when all this happens, I hope they leave you in a cell to just suffer. And even then, that's too fucking good for your trifling sorry excuse for a sperm donor pussy ass fuck ass nigga. Like, it's too much. The only other thing I want to say is I want to tie up one little last loose end. I had said I was going to talk about why I did not name the little sister. And my reasoning for that is that young girl was 13 years old when this happened, and she survived. And today she is a young 30-something-year-old woman living in the aftermath of that. And while anybody that Googles this story, you can find her name. It's not a secret. It's in the court documents, all of that. But I just wanted to give her the opportunity at a little piece of anonymity, at least in the fact that I wasn't going to call her name out. I felt like that was the least that I could do. She was 13. She lost her sister and her nieces and nephews. And while they lost their lives, we need to know their names. She survived. And that in and of itself is an amazing feat. Like, I can only imagine the survivor's guilt, remorse, whatever you want to call it, that they say usually accompanies these type of situations. So I don't want to compound that. I hope that she was able to get the therapy that is needed and is still receiving it. And I don't want to set back any more than necessary, because again, I am telling her story without mentioning her name, but I am talking about her people, you know, as respectfully as I can. I am so glad that she lived. And I wish her nothing but the best in life and mercies upon her. But yeah, that's why I didn't mention her name. But again, if you want to know what her name is, all you have to do is Google this story. You know, I understand getting out ain't always as easy as saying I want to get out, but you have to try. You have got to put yourself first. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but yes, you can. Just like Barack said, yes, you can. 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 I promise you, you can. Because staying not only is hurting you emotionally and psychologically, and then a lot of times, like in today's story, physically as well. Before it gets to the point where you writing poems and looking for a way out, just leave. Just leave. Use the resources that are out there, the family members that love you, because please believe somebody love you in this world. Let them help you. Now, that's all I have to say about this. Let's move on. But you know what? I'm going to give the last word to Lisa, because she, like I said, wrote a book of poems that she had published the year before her death. And it was really, really telling. And this one poem in this book that she published, self-published, I think somebody needs to hear her words. And I hope that it inspires them to leave a situation that they know they need to be done with before it's too late. The poem that Lisa wrote is entitled, "Why Did You Love Me With Your Fist?" Why did you love me with your fist? The first time it happened, I believed you when you said it would never happen again. It had been a while, but sure enough, you broke your word, and that wasn't all. I was in the hospital 18 hours before I even knew where I was. pregnant with your child. I could not believe what you had done. The more often, the more intense. Then not just physically, but mentally. You were someone I didn't know. I guess my love for you was stronger than my love for me because I still couldn't let go. Then one day, I was washing my face and looked in the mirror, my face black and blue. All at once, the tears fell. My heart fell. My world fell. I knew now what I had to do. But before I could leave, you were there. You started saying, "Don't go. I love you." Now here I am 2 years later, 42 broken bones later, 6 concussions later, 12 black eyes later, 27 busted lips later, 3 miscarriages later, 2 comas dictating from my hospital bed, paralyzed from the neck down, while you were where you were all the time. And all I want to know is why. Why did you love me with your fist? That's deep. I hope someone heard this and it struck a chord with them to give them the courage that they need to leave a situation that is detrimental to their lives of their kids, the lives of the people who love them. I hope that God gives you the strength and the courage to leave whatever this toxic, terrible situation that's got you captured in. It can let you go, that you can walk away and be free. Y'all, there's resources out here. It don't have to be this way. There does not have to be an ending that ends with a funeral. All right, that was this week's Love Kills. I told y'all I was going to tell y'all up. You know the country girl don't lie, honey. When I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And damn if I didn't do it, huh? Baby, let's talk about it. You know, you can hit me up on all the social media platforms. I am Melanin Mayhem Podcast or Melanin Mayhem PC, depending on where you are searching. Just start typing in Melanin Mayhem. You're going to see that pretty black and white logo popping up. Yep, that's me. If your ministry is more of the email, I can be reached at melaninmayhempodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget the discussion group on Facebook. We are Melanin Mayhem Podcast Discussion Group. You can join. I promise you I'll let you in. We have really interesting conversations over there. You can let your hair down a little bit. And guys, don't forget there is a Melanin Mayhem Podcast merch out there. You can find that at www.melaninmayhempodcast.com. I hope that the rest of your day can go up from here. I hope that whatever is going on in your life, it all ends positively. But until the next time we get together for another Love Kills, I need y'all to stay safe and play that shit smart, because what I don't want is for you to end up as an episode on Love Kills. I'll be back in 2 Fridays with another episode of Love Kills, but I will also be back on next Wednesday at our regularly scheduled time with another episode of the wonderful, fabulous Melanin Mayhem Podcast. Until we meet again, y'all stay safe out here in these streets. And the country girl is out of here.
Ooh-wee, Nana, you did that.